Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
A blockchain company that developed a relationship dating back to 2016 ended up buying 1.04 billion XRP from Ripple in 2019, and they're now seeking to build at least, their own cross-border payments platform without Ripple. Well, isn't that interesting? Sounds like a similar use case, right? Very interesting indeed. Now, is this bad? Look, there are actually a couple companies that are working together with the Bank for International Settlements that have built prototypes. One of them is the company that I'm referencing right now. And I covered a portion of the story in a video, I think 3, maybe 4 days ago. And you may remember this headline if you saw the video. It was from crypto media outlet U Today. It was a little dramatic, but their headline was, Ripple is under siege as 63 central banks collaborate on new payment system market. Now, first of all, that headline isn't even true. They're referencing the Bank for International Settlement, which has 63 country members, but they're not all working to collaborate to make some sort of international payment system. That's just not the case. There's a certain part of BIS which is, so that headline was literally incorrect, and I mentioned that in the video. But anyway, I went ahead and I took a look at the system that was being built and the prototypes that were built, and I dissected it, and I explained why, in my humble opinion, this is not some sort of serious threat to Ripple and XRP, and even if success is found, it would not obfuscate the utility for XRP as a bridge currency. So I stated my case as to why this is true. But still, a company that holds, or at least held, we don't know for sure if they sold necessarily, but at least held a massive quantity, over 1% of total XRP on the planet, that held that much, building a payment system. That's interesting. Would XRP be a part of it? Or is it that did they sell their XRP and they've taken the money and run, and now they're creating a platform that doesn't need it for some reason? And is this going to be a problem for Ripple? And the project that I'm citing here is called Project Dunbar. Now, there is a member of the XRP community who goes by the name Wrath of Kahneman, who had a really thoughtful thread, and he came to a lot of the same conclusions that I did, but he also delved into this portion of the conversation that I didn't really touch, and it's the fact that this company, which I've been citing in this intro here, which is R3, by the way, the company R3, they're one of the companies that ended up building a prototype for Project Dunbar. And Wrath of Kahneman ended up sharing his perspective on this, and I think that you'd all find it very interesting and informative. So I'm gonna go ahead and run through that in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. And that's the only topic on deck for this video. But before going any further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Here's a headline from Ledger Insights, which dates back to December 24th, 2020. So this is 2 days after the SEC sued Ripple, and here's the headline. SEC legal papers reveal R3 Ripple settlement was more than $240 million. And without getting into all the nuts and bolts of this, which I have talked about in the past, and not that they're all in the fresh at the front of my brain anyway here, but there was a dispute between Ripple and R3 after they formed their relationship in 2016. They were working together in some capacity to find some sort of use case for XRP. And Ripple ended up finding that R3 didn't really fulfill their obligation, and as a result, their buying option for XRP, they said, nope, it's no longer on the table because R3, you didn't fulfill your obligation. Well, there ended up being a settlement, and they came to an agreement, and R3 actually did ultimately end up buying some XRP, and I'm going to share with you some of the specifics here, but let me share the top part of this article. Ripple and enterprise blockchain firm R3 were previously involved in litigation over an options agreement that granted R3 the right to buy 5 billion XRP. A critical detail about the confidential settlement reached in September 2018 was leaked in SEC legal papers filed against Ripple on Tuesday. So because there was this lawsuit, we found out more about the settlement between R3 and Ripple. And here I'll show you the actual initial legal complaint dated, here you can see December 22nd, 2020. And it's this section 144 right here, which reads as follows. And they don't cite R3 by name, but there's only one company on the planet that had an option to buy 5 billion XRP, and as a result, we know that what's being referenced here is the company R3. And it reads as follows. In 2016, Ripple entered into an agreement with an enterprise software firm based in Manhattan that gave the firm an option to buy up to 5 billion XRP at a discounted price in exchange for efforts to help Ripple develop a use for XRP. The amount of XRP available for purchase under the option was later reduced, and option investor B, which is R3, purchased at least 1.04 billion XRP in 2019. So there you go. They had a settlement in 2018. The purchase actually took place for over 1 billion XRP in 2019. So we only know that happened because of the lawsuit. Now, as far as how the SEC figured this out, I don't know. All sorts of stuff leaked, obviously, to the SEC, and people were talking that maybe should have kept their damn mouth shut. There's some stuff like that, but that's what happened. And it was estimated that depending on when the purchase took place, it would have been worth either $240 to $470 million worth of XRP at the time. So over 1 billion XRP, which is obviously worth a lot more now. So now you get into Project Dunbar. So that's a little background on R3. Interesting background. So boatload of XRP. Massive holder of XRP, unless they've since sold it and we're just unaware. I haven't seen anything to that effect or any proof of that, so maybe they still, I don't know. They probably sold some of it, to help with their burn rate, because I don't know. I don't even know if their company would be profitable outside of the, investments that they've gotten from venture capitalists and with XRP. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. But regarding Project Dunbar, it's basically a model that was set up to replace individual payment rails in individual countries. So, the way that things are set up in terms of payments, domestically, there's typically not a bunch of friction because, by and large, there's a universally adopted payments rail system within each individual country. So in the United States, ACH, and there's all sorts of others, the world over. And they vary in terms of quality and speed, but usually there's not an intense amount of friction. You get more friction when you want to convert from one fiat currency to another, from one country to another, especially if there aren't intermediaries because there aren't relationships set up there. And so the proposal here is to get all of these individual countries on board on one payments platform, payments and settlement platform, actually. And it does require the utilization of central bank digital currencies, with what they've proposed anyway. And there are all sorts of concerns, which I highlighted, and Wrath of Kahneman shared some of them. So I want to share with you, and you'll see, if you listen to that video, you'll see there is going to be a reasonable amount of overlap, but he also does get into some of his own personal opinions, there are his own personal opinions, I'm saying, that are different than mine, and he also delves into this idea of, okay, what's going on with R3? Is this actually a threat? Is this good or bad for XRP holders? And my position has been, this is a walled garden system, even if it gets adopted, and right now we're just in the prototype phase, so even if it's adopted, you're still going to need to bridge all of these various payment platforms that are walled gardens together. You've got to glue them together somehow, and XRP is being positioned as the neutral bridge asset. It's the only cryptocurrency on the planet that is being positioned for that use case today. That still means something. So I'm not afraid of any of this. But anyway, here's what Wrath of Kahneman had to say. Lots of questions about Project Dunbar. Is it an XRP killer? No, but here's a thread anyways if you are looking for information. 20 tweets, buckle up. And by the way, it was actually 21 tweets. He labeled one of them twice, so it was actually 21 tweets, but that's okay. And then you wrote, for simplicity's sake, let's just consider the latest BIS report on it. And this is it on your screen now. I actually highlighted portions of this, including FX trading and FX settlement, which are two different things, because as far as sourcing liquidity, they're actually saying, hey, you've got to go through a traditional means. That's not even part of their proposed platform to begin with, which he also highlights here. So anyway, let me just read through this. Number one, first, the short answer. Dunbar was an experiment to see if central bank digital currencies could work together. That's all. Not live, not at scale. Their own conclusion was it is unlikely all governments would share one platform. In which case, XRP still has a use case. And so look, I think they do want to push for this, assuming the prototype works. I think they're going to try and push for this. You got quite the uphill battle. I'm not saying it can't happen. You could probably get some success in smaller regions if you're fortunate, but that's quite the uphill battle. And then Wrath of Kahneman continued. And this was just 18 hours ago when he shared this thread, by the way. Number two, Dunbar is a proof of concept by Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, South Africa, and Bank for International Settlements, not the 63 BIS member countries. It was conceived as a multi-central bank digital currency system tried on two blockchains, Quorum, an Ethereum chain developed by Consensus and implemented by Partior, and Corda, developed and implemented by R3. So R3 they're one of the ones that built a prototype. These are two separate prototypes, and they're the ones that had, at least at one point, over 1 billion XRP. Number three, proper use of this multi-central bank digital currency means participants must already have a national central bank digital currency, by the way. It offers a way to pay central bank digital currency to central bank digital currency, or use sponsor banks for countries unable to directly access other countries, not necessarily eliminating foreign holdings. So pause. So this is something that I highlighted in my video 3 or 4 days ago when I was talking about this. This doesn't eliminate Nostra Vostra accounts, the pre-funded accounts. They have not solved that problem. That's a major problem. The only solution humans have devised require the usage of a decentralized cryptocurrency that has an open market price. And why does that work? Because XRP has liquidity. It's already being sold. Now, it doesn't have sufficient liquidity to replace all settlement that takes place internationally today, but crypto asset class is going to be way bigger in the future, so that problem, in theory, will solve itself. But you're just tapping into people already, participating in the market, buying and selling. That's it. That's not what this proposes. This is saying, nope, Nostra Vostra. No solution outside of that. Sourcing liquidity by traditional means. Number 4. This distinction is important as the direct central bank digital currency model creates significant regulatory complications between countries that must share their central banks and exposure to each other's policies. They must agree to a rulebook and governance to participate. So I'll just pause to note, this is a major hurdle. Think about a sovereign nation just giving up some sort of sovereignty as it pertains to the financial system and just hoping that other participants, other nations throughout the world aren't gonna mess it up and gum it up. That's a hard sell, folks. Maybe there's a way to do that. I'm just saying, even if so, that is a hard sell. And this would have to be in a world where central bank digital currencies exist, and technically they do. There's been at least one launch that I'm aware of. But most nations don't have central bank digital currencies yet, and for many, it's years and years off. So XRP, by that time, would be adopted in a much greater capacity, I would anticipate, as a bridge currency. And standards are hard to supplant, so once XRP's there, that's just another notch right there. Like, good luck. Number 5. The hybrid model without direct central bank digital currency interaction requires sponsor commercial banks, increasing complexity, and in some ways mimicking a correspondent system, at least in access. Researcher views it as inefficient because intermediaries are required. Yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? Number 6. Dunbar tested cross-border settlement, but only foreign exchange settlement is in scope, and foreign exchange trading was taken to be performed outside the platform, meaning that agreement about FX rates, foreign exchange rates, and amounts was not even tried. It relied on fixed numbers without trade messaging. So let's pause to note, that's what I was talking about a couple minutes ago when I was saying, as far as where do you source it, where's the money come from? Where's the liquidity? Well, it's pre-funded accounts sourced through traditional means. That's what we're talking about here. There's nothing different here in that regard, anyway. That's a part of the legacy financial system that would be intact with this platform. Number 7. In fact, there are a lot of problems not dealt with in the system, like KYC/AML, that's Know Your Customer and Anti-Money Laundering, strict requirements, and apparently not solved for here, which is not something that I recognized in my video where I was talking about this. It didn't cross my little moon Lambo brain, and it wasn't in the document that I saw anyway, so I'm glad that he pointed it out here. And then he continues, all participants have to agree on these standards and harmonize local laws on things like payment finality, for example. Dunbar was just a pure, could we move central bank digital currency money experiment. Number 8. They discussed the necessary political dimension of a platform rulebook, legal and regulatory framework reviews, and the formation of governance committees to ensure proper compliance. Who has the power in such a system? And put that way, does start to sound a little like SWIFT. Number 9. So you have to ask, who benefits from such an arrangement? There's no doubt central bank digital currencies are on the horizon. But why would large economies give up a degree of monetary control to participate? Would they be happy to supply their central bank digital currencies to banks and let them figure it out? So let's pause here to note, folks, I'm skeptical. Maybe you'd have some smaller countries that are okay being beholden to some other countries. Maybe you could get some sort of traction there. But for most nations, if there's a way to do it without all of this nonsense, and you can have XRP as a bridge currency, that's way less risk. Way less risk. If XRP is adopted for that use case at scale, My gosh, that seems like a no-brainer if you're a central bank. That's my opinion. Number 10. They conclude it would be best if, quote, a single global settlement platform that connects all central banks and commercial banks, end quote, were implemented, but admit it won't happen. Instead, they foresee regional platforms. And that means something would need to go between them. Hint, XRP could. Number 11. So Dunbar-like projects could potentially consolidate some currencies while reinforcing the need for go-between assets. It is still a ways off, and no reason they couldn't integrate any other digital assets like XRP2. And now, a word about the tech, Partior and Corda. So this is the part where we're going to soon be into a little bit of discussion about R3. Number 12, Partior is a payment platform venture by Temasek in Singapore, JP Morgan, and DBS that uses Quorum, which is the consensus project, with Joseph Lubin, everybody's best friend, which is an Ethereum-based solution. Gas fees are set to null. It's not exactly an open platform, though they say it will be at first. In Dunbar, on AWS, only SGD and USD currencies right now. 13 provides, actually I don't need to do that. That one is just links to some articles on that, so we can skip to 14 here. 14, R3 used Corda, an open source blockchain system to build their example. Corda isn't a payment platform. In Dunbar, it's ran on Azure. But we have to address the Corda settler that uses XRP mythos there. And many of you may have heard this. R3 has developed the Corda settler. There's the Corda blockchain, and then there's the Corda settler, which are actually separate pieces of software technically. And so I don't think there's a deep understanding. Not that I have like some insanely deep understanding of this, but I understand some of the basics. And I think even some of the basics aren't really understood in the community. But the Corda settler uses XRP. You may have seen that spoken about over the last few years, in particular in the community. Well, you can settle to XRP. The Corda settler, it's not the same as on-demand liquidity. It's not being used as a bridge currency. Corda was basically set up as a smart contract platform without a native cryptocurrency attached, if memory serves. I researched this literally years ago. I made a video on this in probably the beginning of 2019 because I was curious about it because people were talking about it back then. Corda settler, XRP, this is great. So I looked into it, and basically it was a smart contracts platform, Corda is, and then once you have some sort of finality with a smart contract, for example, then there can be, maybe there's a payout that would be necessary as a result of however that smart contract's in, and then you can settle to XRP, so that would be the payout effectively. It doesn't have to use XRP, but it could use XRP. And so that was what I came to realize upon researching that. It's not as if it's XRP is required. I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding there, at least back then throughout the community. Maybe it's more cleared up now. I don't know. Anyway, so number 15, Corda settler just isn't XRP specific. XRP was the first asset implemented at SBI's behest when Ripple and R3 still had a relationship. But it was built to handle any asset and never intended just for XRP. Check their comments out at bottom of this page. And for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to pull up the link. Number 16. So Settler isn't a backdoor. It's a Corda app you can use to handle any payments, including XRP. And it's likely just as easy to implement XRP payments in a Quorum app, too. Or for Bitcoin, for that matter. The ability to use a token does not imply a need for it in this instance. Number 17. But R3 has incentive because they hold XRP. True, And at one point, R3 had 1 billion XRP. Now, well, Ripple and R3 sued each other, and the case highlighted them as payment competitors. Originally limited to sales of 50 BPS daily, so that'd be 50 basis points daily volume on XRP Ledger, have they sold it yet? See, that's the question. I don't really know for sure, but they either had or have a massive amount of XRP, right? Number 18. Does R3 still have financial motivation to see XRP succeed? Not more than actual current paying jobs, and there's no need to sneak it into the Dunbar tests. They could use it in existing products. Number 19. But SBI is an investor in R3 and Ripple. Also true, but SBI has been using Corda for blockchain systems and stablecoins independent of Ripple so far. They hope for synergy and have encouraged it, but we've never seen any fruit from it. And number 19. So this is the second number 19. So because like I cited, there's a little mishap there. He actually had 21 tweets. He writes, so where does that leave us? Dunbar was an experiment, that's all. It sought to address a particular aspect of cross-border transactions between central bank digital currencies. To prove multi-central bank digital currencies can technically be done when trust and cooperation are present. And then he writes in parentheses, I also think it benefits banks more than governments. And then number 20, the final tweet. XRP is still fast, reliable, and trustless for settlement, and therefore has a use, even in a world the Dunbar projects come to fruition in with multi-central bank digital currency platforms. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. And so that's true. I do agree with that. I think he's pretty well hitting the nail on the head here. And a lot of that, again, if you watched my video a few days ago, he came to a lot of the same conclusions as me. Now, I'll say this, because there's always alleged Ripple and XRP killers out there. There's so many cross-border payments out there. Here's the thing. None of the platforms I've ever seen are trying to position a decentralized cryptocurrency as a bridge currency. None of them. I'm not aware of a single one on the entire planet. Not one. And this is the only solution outside of Nostra Vostra accounts that humans have devised to this point. And so that's why I look at this and I'm just like, duh, of course it works. Unless something comes way out of left field, okay, fine, maybe that's possible. But that's why one of the reasons when I look at the long-term viability of XRP, I'm like, if XRP is solving a problem, that represents value. If something is valuable, humans don't just throw it away. If there is no other solution, XRP is the only crypto solving, even attempting to solve this problem on a global scale, doesn't that mean it's going to be long-term viable?
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.